Good day here on January the 30th. I just looked at it and I had to look again. Sunday, January the 30th of 2022. I'm gonna hope my upstairs neighbors don't have more cannonballs to drop while I attempt to get through this movie review. Good old Blood Punch here. I can't remember exactly how I came across this movie. I don't know. I can't remember. But of course, the names in it, as a Power Ranger R.P.M. fan, was very familiar to me because we got Milo Cawthorn, Olivia Tennant, Ari Boyland, Mike Ginn, and actually Adelaide Kane make appearances in this. Our two main people are Milo. Actually, I looked it up because I was curious. This movie was made in 2013, and they got married in 2013. So I was kind of like, I was wondering if this movie was like in the middle of when they got married, if if this was like after they weren't married anymore. But this was 2013, and they got married in 2013. So I guess that kicked off the, I don't know. So Mike and Adelaide make more appearances, and Ari's well, I'll get to the plot here in a minute. And also, I noticed some other names in the credits. Rose McIver was a producer. I have the Wikipedia up here because I wanted to see if anybody listed anything else that I missed. Yes, Rose McIver was a producer, and actually one of the special people they think at the end in this little section was Eka Darville. So there's like a lot of Power Ranger RPM-ness going on. And actually, because I didn't notice, the film was scripted by Eddie Guzilian. I'm murdering names today, but that's fine. He was the head writer and executive producer for Power Rangers RPM, and the director was Madeleine Paxson, who was a writer on RPM. So there's a lot. There was a couple ones that I didn't see. I don't. Black and Silver, I don't think got a shout out or anything. I don't, unless I missed something in the credits. That's what the thingy looked like. The DVD looked like. I actually liked this picture better. That was the first picture that I came across, and I was hoping that was my DVD cover, but it wasn't. I like this cover a lot better. They just look more badass than that one. But as for the film itself, I did enjoy it. It's Olivia's character is looking for someone to bake a lot of meth, and Milo's character is recovering. He's like court mandated drug rehab, and so she comes in there somehow. She comes in there and she's like, oh no, I'm not looking to recover. I'm looking for someone who is smart enough to bake me a lot of meth in a day, basically, is the hammer that she throws down. And so of course, Milo's character is super smart, blah 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 blah, and of course he's kind of like falling for her already, so he's like, oh yeah, sure, I can maybe do that, blah blah blah. And so then they, get involved with her boyfriend, who is played by Ari Boyland, who actually does a very good job in this movie. And I kind of wish his character had maybe been around a little bit more. But it's not really a spoiler because they tell you on the back of the thing. They have their first night, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And Ari's character is going to betray Milo, and, after he's made all the drugs so that they can make all the money, he's going to kill Milo, so they have to fight him, and he ends up dead. And then, they wake up the next morning, and there he is again. And then they, something that I liked, that because some of these Groundhog Day-ish movies, like some of the things don't change or whatever, but they go and well, Milo's character goes and checks the hole that they dug, and his, the boyfriend's body is still in there, but there he is standing right in front of him. You're like, what are you doing? So like, there's very many dead bodies in this, and that's why like every day starts out with them like killing him because they know he's going to, betray them or whatever. And I mean, there is some dark comedy. So if you watch like the outtakes and you watch some of the behind the scenes deleted scenes and stuff, it looked like maybe they were going for more of a kind of comedy more than ended up in the movie. I mean, there's still some, don't get me wrong, whatever. There's still some dark humor in there. Because they kind of get at a point, they kind of have this argument over like whose turn it is to kill him this morning, So unfortunately, I think the film would have been a little bit more interesting if he had somehow caught on to it, what was going on. But I mean, I guess that's a whole other story. For the movie, Minx wants to get involved apparently. So it's like I'm trying to say without spoilers, of course. But I did enjoy it. It's listed as kind of a horror thriller kind of thing because I know I talked about this in one of my Power Ranger Facebook groups, and somebody was like, well, I don't really like horror movies, but let me know how it is, whatever. That was many weeks ago. I can't remember when I bought this, but it's kind of horror in a way. There's gore, there's blood, because they kill him every morning, and that's kind of, in some ways it's kind of, the blood is in some ways kind of like the first Kill Bill movie. It's just sometimes it's just like so ridiculous that it's like over the top, and it kind of has that kind of effect, I guess, in some ways. But there's no like. Yeah, I would put it more on the thriller side, I guess, kind of like a supernatural thriller kind of thing, because, I mean, the day resets every time, like no matter how far they drive and whatever, they're always, right back to where they started, because, they do all the smart things. It's like they tried this, and like they have this whole list going down of, that's actually one of the deleted scenes that they used for something else. But spoilers, I don't want to say, but they have like this whole list of ways that they tried to kill him, they have like, so they start doing the research and, they try all these different things of like, they tried not killing him one day and it didn't do any good. They tried, getting in the car and leaving and it didn't do any good. So they try all these different things, but the day still restarts. So there's kind of a supernatural kind of supernatural sci-fi-ish element to it, I guess, kind of thing. And so I guess more, supernatural kind of thing. Because they have to find the answers out themselves about what's going on, And I mean, it starts out in a good way with, if you watch the trailer, one of the trailers at least for Blood Punch, they show Milo Cawthorn's character. He wakes up and then he has this little play me thing, and it starts from him like saying like, okay, I need to show you something real fast. He's like we don't have time to get into everything. I just need you to listen. So he like, he sees himself on the video, Well, it's the beginning of the movie. It doesn't really, like, he shows him, like, and you'll see it in the trailer if you watch the trailer. He cuts his fingers off in the video. He's like, now. And, of course, he's looking at himself, and he's like, I have all my fingers. What the hell? What's going on here? Kind of thing. Of course, he's talking to himself on a video, which is already weird enough, So, I mean, I would put it more in the thriller kind of, almost kind of more crime drama, because there's kind of like, they're baking the meth for somebody, to sell it to somebody. And, those characters kind of become involved later. But as one of the ways they're trying to, escape and get away and whatever. So there's the whole, baking of the, it's kind of a crime drama love story, I guess, kind of in some ways, but it's like, who's on, it's just, who's gonna get him first kind of thing, I guess. And it's interesting just to kind of see the way that it all plays out. I became very invested, I guess, in the two main characters, and what are they going to do, and how are they going to get out of this, and what's going to happen, and kind of thing. So it's kind of, even though the day restarts every time, of course it's not always, it's never the same day twice kind of thing, so it's like, if you don't really get bored with it, it's kind of, I mean, hopefully, I guess, even though there's only like, so many ways, I guess, I mean, they end up killing the Ari Borland's character, many different ways, many different times. Sometimes he just kind of like, I guess that's kind of one of the deadpan moments is, he's, he just comes out for breakfast and they shoot him kind of thing. So there is some dark humor to it. Like I said, if you look at the deleted scenes and all that other kind of stuff, it looks like maybe, I don't know, the scenes that you see there kind of have, of course, some of them are test footage. So, I mean, I don't, that's, maybe they weren't really planning on that going in the movie anyway. But one of the other trailer kind of used some of that footage for, I don't know. But so it is a horror-ish comedy, crime love story kind of thing. I don't know. There's a few different. You do have to be okay with blood. I don't know, the Power Ranger fans who might be checking this out. You do have to be okay with blood, and like drug use and cursing. There's a lot of cursing in this movie, so it's in some ways it's I mean, Power Rangers R.P.M. was a very dark Power Ranger season, but this is, this goes to 11. If you want to put it that way. But it is an enjoyable film, I would say. Even if you're not a Power Ranger R.P.M. fan, you should probably, check it out. Like I said, I don't know how much it actually fits in the horror category, other than the supernatural kind of, day resetting kind of weirdness that goes on. It's more crime kind of, we're baking all this meth and, we need to go sell it, and, how are we going to get out of this day resetting kind of thing? So it's interesting to see that, the many ways that the day plays out. I was never bored with, how things were different and how they tried to go about, changing their fate, basically, I guess, in some ways. So, I mean, it's an enjoyable movie, even if, I'm glad. I'd never heard of this before. I never heard of this movie before, even though I was a Power Ranger R.P.M. fan, and this has, plenty of cast in it that, should have enticed me to watch it, but I'd never heard of it before. It was never a discussion in the Power Ranger fandom that I ever saw, anyway. So I'm glad I saw it, because even without the even if this had been an entirely different cast, I guess I almost said cast of characters, but that's not right. It would have been an entirely different cast of performers, actors and actresses, and I still would have enjoyed this film. So because it's very entertaining. You kind of get into the story and how, they have to figure out, what's going on, and how to, once they figure out what's going on, they have to figure out how to, get out of it, and blah, 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 and, there are twists and turns along the way that, you might see coming, might not, I don't know, but anyway, so enjoyable film, Blood Punch, R.P.M. cast or not, so check it out. Other than that, no cannonballs, we're good. I swear, I was so glad whatever hit a while ago did not just come on through the floor, because that sounded fucking heavy as shit, but right above my head, yay. But maybe the day would have reset, and I would have been fine, who knows. But anyway, I probably have a million different videos that I've promised y'all that I will someday get to. But until then, I will see you for what I see you.